Hey guys, and welcome to a quick ETS2 menu settings tutorial. In this episode we're simply going to go through all of the options and show you the configurations that I have for my game, show you why I've got them, and really give you a quick startup tutorial. The reason why we're going to do this is because if you leave it as default, you'll find that a lot of key features you need for either a controller or a wheel or just quality of life things are not going to be on there. You can also find that the sensitivity can be a bit off, so it really is useful to try and go through these settings with you to help you out. First off, you're going to go to options. Now you've got a number of quality settings that you're going to go to here. The main ones that we're going to be going through are these three here: the gameplay, keys and buttons, and controls. I'm going to start with controls. I'm going to start with controls because this is the basic settings you will need in order for the game to run at all. After that, it is mainly quality of life and just personal preference. So if you're using a controller, you need to make sure that you've got keyboard and controller for Xbox One for Windows selected, and then under controller subtype you need to have gamepad and joystick. If you do not have gamepad and joystick and keyboard and controller, it will not work. You'll find you'll have issues. It will constantly be battling with itself, and it will be very desynced and very messy. You want to keep your transmission to simple automatic if you're using an Xbox controller. Normal automatic, what can happen is some of the settings can switch on and you can have things like your air brake running out and other things like that. So just keeping it as simple automatic just gets rid of all the issues. If you want to go for geared, I would very much highly recommend going with a wheel and a shifter. Adaptive automatic transmission I keep on disabled. Steering sensitivity and steering non-linearity is two of the big things. A lot of people think that you need to have the bar all the way up to that side or all the way down to the left. In actual fact, you want it somewhere just off the middle, because with a keyboard and mouse, and especially with a controller, it can be much more sensitive. So you don't want it all the way to one way or the other because it will make it too slow or too fast. But you don't want it dead center in the middle either, but it is down to your preference of how sensitive you want it. And you don't really want steering non-linearity on at all, in my personal opinion. You want to keep your force feedback on because it's always good having vibration, although again, all these settings here for your stiffness and gain, etc. are all down to you. I keep them all as default. Your steering axis you want as your X-axis, and you want to set it up so that your controller, when you knock the left thumbstick to the left or to the right, you'll see the bar come up. The sensitivity has already been dictated, but you want to make sure that it does actually see it at all. If you don't, or if you're not sure, if you don't like it using the thumbstick, you can click on it and then you can press a button or move the stick to assign it. You've got your dead zone here. Again, you don't want it dead in the center and you don't want it all the way to the right or to the left. Again, you can move it to where you find it comfortable. I think down roughly where it is with the steering sensitivity is about right. Always keep it centered. And the same with your acceleration. You want to make sure that you're hitting the button that you want to accelerate and decelerate with in both of these boxes here, with the dead zone in roughly the same place. All that means is that when you accelerate and when you brake, it will have that delay from when you go, just like you are actually pressing on an accelerator pedal. The last thing you want is to accelerate and you do be doing roughly around 50 or 60 miles an hour straight away. That's not what you want in a truck. The acceleration axis mode you want inverted and centered. The brake axis you want centered. Your clutch is non-applicable because you are using simple automatic. Looking down, looking up and down. Again, you just want to make sure that you've got your left and right, your up and down with your right thumbstick, and again, having it the dead zone where you want it. And that's really it. I mean, the rest of it is for your shifter setup, which you're not using, your miscellaneous, and your eye tracking. Once you've done that, you can simply click off it. The next option we'll be looking at is your gameplay. And this is personal preferences within the game. What I mean by that is just things, little quality of life and things that will work on MP and will not work on MP. For example, you've got your random desktop background, so it changes how long it takes before it fades to the next one. These game settings are we going to need to look at if you're using the multiplayer mod. Fatigue simulation doesn't work the same as it does on the single player game, and it is much better if you switch it off. What you'll find is if you've got a lot of fatigue on, you can struggle to find jobs. Your traffic offense, that is just a personal preference thing as well. I have it switched off whilst I'm on multiplayer because a lot of time people won't stop at red lights and you can cause traffic jams and stuff if you do so, and you don't really want to be getting fined every 5 minutes for having to do that. Keep your preferred job length all the way up, because what it means is that it will not filter out or limit any of your jobs that you can get. Route advisor, it's always handy to know what it is, even though you're not going to be following it. Speed warning is fine. Automatic parking dialogue is always useful if you are handing in your jobs. Keep route advisor hidden. I have this unchecked because I sometimes like it on, especially if the automatic prompts come up. It's good to know that you need to do certain things. It just keeps you awake and aware. Your heavy cargo warning screen. This is quite handy if you are about to take a job and you're not in your main truck. All this is default. Show navigation, navigation mode. This literally just gives you your preferences for your routes. I have it to best because it tends to be the shortest and quickest route, although it doesn't always work. You've got your parking difficulty. You can always select which one you want from there. Your random road events, I have them switched all the way down. If you're convoying on multiplayer, having random road events can be really, really annoying. Rain probability, even at half, it's pretty much all the time. So you might want to turn this down just a little bit more. Time zones are disabled. Show cutscenes and invert mouse. You don't want to invert your mouse, trust me on that. Truck settings, again, it's just your braking intensity, your truck stability and everything like that. You do want your truck stability up and your trailer stability up as high as possible. Otherwise, you will find that the physics in the game will make your trailer just go crazy, and you don't really want that at all. Truck speed limiter, I have that off. What that means is when you're not doing external contracts, your truck can go as fast as you can bloody well go. I always have it off. It just means that if you're trying to meet up with people and you don't have the garage, it makes it a lot quicker to get there. Automatic engine brake, I also have that off as well. Otherwise that can cause issues. And your automatic parking brake engage, just because that's really annoying when you start your truck and you can't move, you forget, you've got to sit there and press your your parking brake. Camera settings I keep pretty much as standard. Your steering camera rotation I do not have switched on. I don't like it when you're turning and you're moving. It's really disorientating. And I keep the steering rotation on reverse as to normal. Blinker camera rotation I don't have that on either. Again, it disorientates you quite a lot. Your regional settings, so you can set it to what you want your weights and your temperatures, the amount of volume and everything. You can set that completely to how you like it. I've set it all to local and weights that I'm used to. Lastly, we're going to talk about your buttons. Now, this is key binding. It is fully customizable, and it is really, really kind of cool, the amount of depth that they've gone into with this. Now, as you can see, I've actually not bothered changing a lot of these. A lot of them are because they are gears, or just because I don't need them, or because I use the keyboard anyway. The ones that I have changed, I have moved start stop engine. I have made to my A button on my controller. Left turn and right turn on my right and left bumpers. Light modes, I've got my switching lights on and off as my left directional button, and then I've put the full beam onto my bottom directional button on the Xbox control pad. I've had my beacon to the select button, the horn, the normal horn to the left thumbstick being pressed in, the air horn to the X button, the wipers to the right button, so you press right once to start them, right twice to make them go as a constant, and right 3 times to make them go very fast, right 4 times to switch it off and back to reset. And that's pretty much it. Next, camera and interior camera I have put to the up button and the circle button on the Xbox control pad, and everything else is pretty much as standard. It's very, very simple once you've got it all done. It is very much a case of first time setup and then you leave it. But other than that, that is a quick tutorial setup guide on how to get your truck to a workable, usable, and enjoyable level. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I shall see you all next time. Ciao, ciao.